everyone, my name is Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be making a video about how you should properly approach a dog. So this is kind of part of not a class, but basically I volunteered to demonstrate to a bunch of third graders how to avoid being bitten, signs of dog aggression, and how to approach a dog properly. Because pretty much everyone doesn't do that. They do not approach dogs properly, and even the way you greet a dog is improper. And a lot of people forget that at the end of the day, you have to respect what the owner wants. Even if you love the dog, yes, dogs are living creatures, but they also belong to people. A person pays for them, they buy them their food, and they literally buy their dog. So it's their dog. It's not a dog that they are obligated to share with you. Lay down. So with that being said, you should always ask a person to pet their dog before you pet the dog. So when you are approaching someone who has a dog to ask to pet the dog, some things you should be doing is not staring at the dog. A dog can feel when you're staring at them, and that will make them uncomfortable. And they'll either, ignore it, they'll either get uncomfortable and shy away, or they will feel that and they could be reacting in an excited way. But either way, that is already setting up your greeting to not being a calm greeting, and calm greetings are the ideal greeting for a dog. You should not go running up to the person who has the dog or approach from behind, because then you're not surprising the dog. If you go running up to a dog, it's like, what if some random stranger ran up to you going, hi, how are you today? I would be uncomfortable personally. And basically, that's the same with dogs. You are a stranger to them. You may love dogs, but a dog is not obligated to love you. Okay? So we should always respect what the dog is feeling and respect if they also want to say hi to you. So when you ask the owner, hey, may I pet your dog, after approaching, in a way where the owner and dog can see you, so you're not surprising the owner or the dog, and you're doing it in a way that isn't making the owner or the dog uncomfortable, because if the dog can sense its owner is uncomfortable, that also might give an undesired reaction towards you, because the dog can tell that you are the source of its owner's discomfort. And just no offense, but most dogs will always like their owners more than you. And even if they're initially excited to see you, they're going to choose their owners first. So then if the owner says no, you respect that, because it's not your dog. You are not entitled to say hi to it. If the owner says yes, ask them, hey, so what are your rules for your dog, so that you can respect those rules. Because once again, it's their dog, so you should be playing by their rules and how they are training their dog. If they don't care if the dog jumps up, that's great. But I don't care if you don't care that my dog is jumping on you. It's my dog, I compete with her, and if she starts jumping up on people, that's only hindering me as a dog trainer who competes, and it's hindering our progress and our training. And if you don't respect my training, I'm just gonna walk away from you. You're gonna lose your dog petting privileges. But a lot of people, unfortunately, aren't good at standing up for what they want, and will instead let people just walk over them and their training, but then they'll get uncomfortable because even though they're not saying anything, they're uncomfortable because it's not what they want. So with that, the dog might suddenly go, oh, my owner's uncomfortable, and then that excitement may turn into something else. So just always make sure that you're respecting the owner, because at the end of the day, you are lucky enough that this owner is letting you pet their dog, because they are in no way, shape, or form obligated to do so. Another thing to look out for is if the dog doesn't approach you, don't force yourself on the dog. If the dog goes, I'm gonna stay by my owner, don't you go closer and then try to pet it from there. That is the dog's job to initiate and choose to initiate. And if they choose not to, that's not their fault. They're making a choice, respect their choice as well. And then another thing you should do is when you pet the dog, obviously don't go in for a hug. Dogs don't know what hugs are, and they let, people they trust do it because they trust the person. But you're a stranger. If some stranger came up to me and hugged me, I would be very uncomfortable. And that's the same with the dog. And people know what hugs are, and that's still an uncomfortable thing if a stranger goes up to you and hugs you. All a dog knows is when you do this, their head is trapped. And yeah, she doesn't mind because she knows me, but she would 100% mind if a stranger did that. She wouldn't bite, but she'd be like, okay, I don't like you. And she would no longer want to entertain your company. Another thing you should watch out for is when you go in to pet a dog, you should keep your hands where they can see your hands at first. So their cheeks, their chin, their nose, things like that are all acceptable. A lot of people say to pat their head here, but watch how she goes, whoa, where's that hand going? Where's that hand going? And she knows me, and we've done touch desensitization, but she's still going, okay, what are we doing? Because I don't pet her like that. I respect her space, and I respect that when I am petting her, I'm keeping my hands where she can see and where she knows that where they're going. So if I do start petting her behind, they start in the front. I'm not just going, bless you. And some dogs are a lot more sensitive to that than other dogs. Ideally, if you see a stranger in public and they're training, I wouldn't even ask to pet the dog because they're working right now. And you don't know if that dog's being trained to be a service dog. And with service dogs, never ask to pet the dog if it's a service dog, unless the service dog owner goes, hey, want to pet my dog? Things like that. However, there's a lot of people who also don't have these rules, but not everyone's the same. Some people are pet owners and they don't care what their dog does, and that's okay. But there are a lot of people who do care what their dog does, and they're trying to work through that. And if they're going in public places to, desensitize their dogs to the public area, and you go around running up to their dog and making them uncomfortable and making the owner uncomfortable because they're trying to train, that will really deter people from wanting to train their dog if there are strangers making that experience unenjoyable for them. So just keep that in mind. Once again, you are not entitled to petting everyone else's dogs, and even if you don't care about how well trained your dog is, there are people who do care, and just because their ideas of what a dog should be like is different than yours, that is not a wrong thing. Everyone's allowed to have different expectations for their dogs, and that is okay. So just keep that in mind in public. But if you do feel like you have to ask if you can pet a dog, because I get it, you might have had a border collie, and my border collie might look a lot like yours, and that brings back memories. I get it, because dogs are something we love. At the end of the day, whether you have a well-trained dog, if you don't, typically you love your dog. And that's something that brings us all together as a community. But you shouldn't go, oh my gosh, your dog looks just like my dog. That means it is just like my dog. And go up and pet it and hug it, because it isn't your dog. It doesn't know you. And, that's when bad things happen. And that's where the owner usually ends up having to deal with the fallout of the stranger's actions. You get to say hi to a dog, and you get to be all, oh my gosh, this dog. And then the owner has to deal with either my dog is now terrified of people, my dog is now uncomfortable with people, and I have to work on that again. Or now my dog is so excited to see strangers, and bringing it to public is a chore, and you might be the cause of a nice thing being ruined for that owner and their dog. So that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. I hope this video was educational, and like I said, at the end of the day, dogs are something we all love, and that's something that brings us together. But when people go and approach dogs without asking the owner's permission, that's what causes a gap between the community of people. And at the end of the day, that's not what I want. I don't want there to be like this rift between dog lovers and dog trainers, because dog trainers still love their dogs, they just have higher expectations. And this is in no way shape, or form an attack towards people. This is just an educational video because, like I said, not everyone's a dog trainer. Not everyone understands the body language, and not everyone understands that some people do a higher form of competition with their dogs and a higher form of training with their dogs. Because if that's not something you do, then you just expect, you know, based off of your experiences, that everything will be the same. Just like when I'm in public, I admire dogs from afar, but I don't really ask to pet the dog because I'm used to people when they go in public to train their dogs, and I respect that. But like I said, at the end of the day, dogs aren't something you're entitled to say hi to, and they are still someone's property. Like, we're dog owners. We own the dog. So you can love them, you can enjoy them, but they're not your dog. And just keep that in mind if you watch this video the next time you see a dog and you want to approach it. And also, this is something for dog owners as well, you can use to educate other people on approaching your dog to make the greeting go more smoothly if your dog is one that's more shy towards people or one that is more excitable towards people. You can say, hey, my dog is shy, you know, so keep it really calm. And if my dog expresses they don't want to say hi, then you can't pet my dog. Okay. And then another thing you can do as well is if your dog is really excitable, say, no, you can't pet my dog until it's sitting. If my dog gets up, you can't pet it. And if they disrespect that, that's on them. And you have every right to walk away. You can always take back the consent of saying, oh yeah, you can pet my dog. Be like, never mind, you can't pet my dog. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that person gets upset, oh no, it's your dog. You're advocating for your dog in their space. And that's all that really matters. Not some stranger being upset that they can't say hi to your dog. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!